Before the early Renaissance, dozens of attempts had been made to establish sea trading routes between Europe and Asia. For decades, these voyages failed, and no one knew for certain if a direct sea route to India was even available. Then, in 1486, a Portuguese explorer, Bartolomeu Dias, sailed all the way down to the tip of Africa, going past a point on the tip that he named the Cape of Storms. Diaz returned home without reaching India, but the King of Portugal was happy with how far he had gone. In the hope of eventually finding a route to India, the king renamed the Cape of Storms as the Cape of Good Hope. Over a decade later, Dias's mission was resumed by another Portuguese seafarer. In 1497, Vasco da Gama set sail from Portugal for India with a fleet of 4 ships and a crew of 170 men. When the seamen reached the Cape of Good Hope, they had already sailed for 3 months, far longer than any other expedition had stayed on water without sight of land. They circled round southern Africa and made stops at Mozambique, Mombasa, and Malindi. The Sultan of Malindi welcomed the visitors and provided resupplies. Da Gama also acquired a skilled Muslim sailor to help him navigate through the Indian Ocean. On 20th May 1498, Vasco da Gama finally arrived in Calicut on the subcontinent, becoming the first man known to sail from Europe to India. The traders of Calicut were unwilling to let foreigners cut into their business, but the local ruler agreed to help, and the Portuguese secured a large stock of valuable spices to take back with them. On the return journey, da Gama made the mistake of ignoring the threat of monsoon winds, which proved fatal for his men. Previously, he had sailed from Malindi to Calicut in just 23 days, but returning to Malindi now took him more than 3 months. Once again, the Sultan of Malindi provided help, supplying fresh meat and oranges. To commemorate their friendship, the Gama erected a pillar that still stands today on a cliff near the Malindi coast. The expedition returned home to Portugal a full 2 years after they had set off. Out of the original 170 men, only 54 had survived. The rest had died from disease. Vasco da Gama was welcomed back as a hero. In the coming years, he went to India again, plundering other ships on the way and killing its passengers. He brought monks with him to preach Christianity and forced the Indians to convert. He often resorted to torture, particularly towards who refused to convert. However, his controversial actions aside, Vasco da Gama remains an important figure whose discovery of a sea route led to the colonialism of the subcontinent.